Hello Internet, I'm the Hero of Julios once again with another Digimon card pack opening video. The reason my voice might sound a little different and the fact that you aren't seeing my bright and smiling face at the start of the video is I'm a little under the weather, but I still wanted to record and upload this while the current booster pack is still relevant. We have the latest booster pack of the Digimon card game, BT10, otherwise known as Cross Encounter, and we have a box here. We also have a pre-release booster pack containing 2 cards, and we also have this lovely 3 card per pack Digimon 25th Special Memorial Pack in honor of the Digimon 25th anniversary. So, without further ado, let's start with the pre-release pack. Give this a nice little open. Now, obviously, you guys know me. I'm big on Greymon, and there is a Greymon in this pack, so let's hope maybe one of our pre-releases is Greymon. But it seems our first pre-release is Palmon. This Palmon has the on-play ability of revealing the top 4 cards of your deck, adding 1 card with vegetation or plant in one of its traits, and 1 card with fairy in its traits among them to our hand, placing the rest at the bottom of our deck. So in an ideal scenario, Palmon is a on-play draw 2. Our other card for pre-release is Hero of the Skies. We activate one of the following effects. If we have a Shoutmon Cross 5 in play, we can activate all of the effects below instead, which is just 2 effects. We can give one of our Digimon with Crossheart in its traits Security +1, or we can give ourselves 2 cards from the top of our deck by drawing 2. And of course, if we have Shoutmon Cross 5 or Shoutmon Cross 5B, we'll be able to use both of those effects. So what's interesting about that is this plays into the new cross encounter mechanic, Digi-Crossing, which we'll get into more detail after we've opened up this lovely 25th Special Memorial Pack. The Digimon card game hasn't existed very long, but the Digimon franchise has existed for quite some time. And we are hoping for, obviously, some... Oh, and he's already here. The very first card I pull out of it. It's my boy. It's Agumon. He's got the little Koromon and the Bodamon in the picture with him. All the cards in this special memorial pack represent the original Digivice that was created for the Digimon franchise as kind of as a competition to Tamagotchis. So we have this Agumon, which is the same as the one from the very first booster pack. He lets us look at the top 5 cards and add a tamer to our hand. Oh, we've got Betamon. We look at the top 3 cards of our deck and we add a green level 4 Digimon or a green Tamer to our hand. He's from BT7. And finally we have from BT2 the mighty Seadramon. While it's not any special abilities, it is a strong 4000 DP Digimon as a level 4 and only costs 3 to play. So it's nice if you just need to get a body on the board for low cost. These are really cool artwork. As much as I love Agumon, I love Seadramon's artwork here, with him just sort of leaping out of the water in an angry fashion while brandishing the awesome Digivice that has become so famous over all these years. So I'll take a moment to put these in sleeves and we can finally get on with our Cross Encounter BT10 booster box. Now, as always, these booster boxes come with a lovely box topper. We have Zenjiro Tsurugi. His on-play effect lets us play Ballistamon from our hand or from under one of our tamers without paying its memory cost. When we play a Digimon with Crossheart in its memory, in its traits, we can suspend this tamer to gain a memory. So, Crossheart is one of the 2 main decks that are presented in this booster pack. We got them and we got Blue Flare. There's also Twilight and the Bagara Army. So the other pack, I've got my feelings on this. Our other box topper is the ST11 Special Entry Pack. You see, in Japan, the 11th starter deck wasn't even a starter deck at all. It was actually a series of red cards that had been reprinted in the form of a starter deck. Unfortunately, we don't get that starter deck here in America. Instead, every box of BT10 comes with one of the Gamamon from that starter deck, and then any of the other 16 cards from that starter deck. Well, I'm glad we're guaranteeing ourselves the promo Gamamon, because, you know, anytime a promo shows up, it needs to be obtained in an easy fashion. I am a little upset that they are taking very strong cards like the starter deck Greymon and putting them behind yet another difficult to obtain paywall. So this promo Gamamon has the ability, on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2,000 or less DP. Not bad. And when attacking, it allows you to delete an opponent's Digimon with 2,000 or less DP. So, it's pretty much just good for getting rid of 2k or less DP Digimon. Oh, and speaking of, this is the Greymon from the starter deck. Its inherited effect is Security Attack +1, and it is a very strong card. I mean, personally, I'm very happy I got my hands on this alternate art, and I will definitely be putting it in my flex binder. I'm lucky enough to already own 4 copies of this Digimon, but I just wish they had given us the starter deck instead of putting it in the form of these little box toppers. But that's my own lamentation. So, without further ado, let us open our very first BT10 booster packs. As is tradition, we are starting from the bottom 2 packs of the booster box to see if the bottoms have anything to offer you in the BT10 setup. We are starting with Defense Plug-in C. While you have a Tamer in play, you can use this card without meeting its color requirements. Its main effect is, until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon gains Blocker and Reboot. Its security effect lets us look at the top 3 cards of our deck, play a Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less among them, without paying its memory cost. Then we place the rest at the bottom of our deck and add this card to its owner's hand. So this is a great way of getting some Digimon out there. It does cost 5, but Blocker and Reboot is nothing to blow wind at, especially if the Digimon has already successfully attacked and survived. It'll be able to reboot and then defend you in the next turn. Our next card is Sunflowmon. By suspending one of our green Digimon, we may play it's a when Digivolving ability. By suspending one of our green Digimon, we may play a Digimon with Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy in its traits of 3,000 DP or less from our hand without paying its cost. Its inherited effect is when an effect suspends one of your Digimon during your turn, you draw 1. Green seems to be looking for the ability to suspend themselves in this booster pack, so it's a pretty strong effect to help out with that. Ashiramon, 2 cost to Digivolve, 7 power, 8,000 DP, 7 cost to play from hand. Just a vanilla, but pretty strong for an ultimate level Digimon. Healing Therapy. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gains Security Attack -1. If you have a Venusmon in play, 3 of your opponents gain it instead. So, it's just a great way to defend yourself in case your opponent is striking at you with, a lot of enemies, especially if you're running Venusmon in your deck, which, I'll be honest with you, if you're running this card, why aren't you running Venusmon to get its full effect? Ooh, next is Wazen Gamamon. He Digivolves 2 from Gamamon and has Piercing. This will complete our trio of Gamamon, of Betel Gamamon, Kaus Gamamon, and Wazen Gamamon. So if you're running a Gamamon deck, you now have 3 different champions to choose from. Next up is Troopmon, a Digimon we haven't seen since BT4 actually, or was it BT? It was BT5. During your opponent's turn, when an opponent plays a Digimon or Tamer, you can trash one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to gain a memory. On deletion, save. Your opponent's turn, when an effect trashes this Digivolution card, gain 1 memory. So I'll take this moment to talk about the save mechanic that's coming out in this booster pack. Save allows you to take a Digimon after they are deleted, or whatever effect causes it to happen, and you can put it under a tamer instead of going to trash. There are some tamers that will allow you to use this kind of effect to your advantage. For example, the Zenjiro we pulled as our box topper lets us play Ballistamon from our hand or under one of our tamers. So keep that in mind when building your decks. Next up we got Regalkusmon. When Digivolving, we trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of your opponent's Digimon, and when attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, we may play a level 3 Digimon card and a level 4 Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution sources without paying its memory costs. So he's just good for helping you to widen the board upon Digivolving, because he Digivolves from your ultimate, and then the champion and rookie underneath can slide right out, like that lovely Gomamon with the draw 2. Ooh, next we got Pikmons. When attacking, if this Digimon has Crossheart in its traits, draw 1. Simple as that, it's part of the Crossheart team. Ooh, I've been looking forward to this card. I have an idea involving this that'll really make a great one-turn kill. It's Break Claw. One of our Digimon gains 2000 DP. Then, by placing one card with Gamamon in its name from our hand under one of our Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, we draw 1. Its security effect lets us play a Gamamon from our hand or trash without paying its memory. So if you're making a Gamamon deck, it's an obvious choice. Next we've got Grandisol. When you would use this card, if you have 2 or more suspended Digimon in play, reduce the cost by 2. So it would cost 6 instead of 8. Its main effect lets us suspend one of our opponent's Digimon, then return one of our opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of their deck. So it's a new Gaia Force basically, but allowing you could suspend a different Digimon and then send an already suspended Digimon away in case you had a strategy around that. So keep that in mind, that you do not have to pick the same target unless you're trying to get rid of something that is not suspended. And our first rare is Immortal Ruler. 0 cost, black and purple, but if we have Nene Amano in play, we can use this card without meeting its color requirements. We trash the top 3 cards of our deck, then we can play Dark Nightmon from our trash for its play cost. Remember, just because the option card is 0 does not mean this is now a 0 cost Dark Nightmon. If you play a Digimon card with Digi-Cross requirements by this effect, you may also place cards from your trash in the Digivolution cards for a Digi-Cross. So you can pay the play cost, but then you can reduce it with the power of Digi-Cross, which I'll get to once we pull out a Digi-Cross card. Our other rare, is Ruli. Well, that's nice. So at the start of our turn, if we have 3 memory or less, we set it to 3, so, it's a memory tamer. And during our turn, when we attack with a Digimon that has Angoramon in its name, or is level 5 or higher, we can suspend this tamer to suspend an opponent's Digimon of 5000 DP or less. And then, of course, the standard tamer security effect. Not a bad start, but let's see if the other booster pack from the bottom can do better. Our other bottom booster is Sunflowmon, another Ashuramon, and Ballistamon, who can Digivolve 2 from a level 3 with Crossheart in its traits. During the opponent's turn, while we have another Digimon or Tamer with Crossheart in its traits, this Digimon gains Blocker, and on deletion, Save. His Inherited gives Digimon with Shoutmon Piercing, and that will come into play once we get into all the Digi-Cross stuff. Oh, Darulumon, another member of the Crossheart team, who can also Digivolve from a level 3 with Crossheart. On play, if we have another Digimon or Tamer with Crossheart in its traits, one of our opponent's Digimon loses 3000 DP until the end of our opponent's turn. On deletion, Save. Then, during our turn, when this Digimon has Shoutmon in its traits, your opponent's Digimon in security lose 2000 DP, making it easier for whatever Shoutmon he's a part of to pierce through the opponent. Or get through the opponent's security, I should say. Next we have Balmon. When attacking, we may trash the top 3 cards of our deck. And on deletion, if we have 10 or more cards in trash, we can play Beelzemon from our trash without paying its memory cost. So, very strong. He is a member of the Bagra army, but this is definitely designed for a Beelzemon deck, not really a Bagra army kind of strategy. Next we get Plasma Decadra Launcher. When we would use this card, if our opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, reduce the memory cost by 2. So it would cost 5 instead of 7. Return one of our opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon to its owner's hand. Its security effect lets us return any Digimon of our opponent's to its owner's hand. So it's kind of a weaker Cocytus Breath, but for only 5 and not needing the dual color that Megadeth needs, makes it a pretty decent card. Next we have Assaultmon, who is just a regular cyborg, but 10,000 power on a level 5 is not a bad stat line. Ajatarmon. Ajatarmon? I think that's how it's pronounced. Its main effect is by suspending one of our green Digimon in play. We may play a Digimon with Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy in one of its traits and 3,000 or less DP from our hand without paying its play cost. When an effect suspends one of our Digimon, gain a memory. That's inherited. So, again, playing into the inherited effects of making, Digimon suspend and gaining abilities based on that. Oh, we have a new baby. It's Monimon. All turns, while this Digimon has Twilight in its traits, it gets 1,000 DP. Simple as that. It's built for the Twilight army. Next we have Beelzemon. He can Digivolve for 3 off of a level 5 with Crossheart in its traits, so he is a member of the Crossheart team. On play and when Digivolving, we can trash the top 3 cards of our deck, and for every 10 cards in our trash, delete one of our opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So Balmon, gets the ball rolling, and then he comes to board and can just explode things. So that's pretty nice. Its inherited effect is at the end of your attack, for every 10 cards in your trash, gain 1 memory. So the interesting thing about Crossheart is it combines all the different abilities of the different colors, like the standard abilities for all the different colors, and turns it into one awesome army that's designed to work together. For our rares, we get Uamano. During all of our turns, when a purple card is placed under this tamer, we draw 1, and it's only once per turn. During our turn, when we would play a level 4 or higher Digimon with Bagra Army in its traits, by placing up to 3 purple Digimon cards from under your tamers in the played Digimon's Digivolution cards, we can reduce the cost of that Digimon for 2 for each card placed. So the shtick of the Bagra Army, and Yu, who was one of the main generals of that army, was to force Digi-Cross, which the Digi-Cross mechanic lets you reduce the cost of playing a card by taking its material, the different Digimon that make up that Digi-Cross, and putting it underneath. Yu, however, kind of skips that and forces random assorted Digimon to become a reduced cost Digi-Cross Digimon. Ho! And this is from the bottom of the... Wow, that's from the bottom of the box. Look at that. Well, that would have been a great finishing booster pack, wouldn't it? Well, see, this is why you should trust the bottom of your booster box, ladies and gentlemen. You should definitely trust it, because now we have Jesmon GX. He can Digivolve for 5 off a level 6 Royal Knight Digimon, or he can Digivolve 5 off of a level 6 of either black or red. 15,000 power, 15 to play, but when Digivolving, you may place a card with Royal Knight in its traits with a play cost of 13 or less from your hand or trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution source. Then activate one of that card's when Digivolving abilities, then gain Blitz. During all of your turns, While a card with Royal Knight in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution sources, it gains Piercing, Blocker, and Security Attack +1 for each of such card. So, is it strong? Yes. Is it a little broken? Kind of. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to shake up the meta, but it seems like a very powerful card to me because it gives Jessamon players access to every Royal Knight when Digivolving ability except for Omnimon, because all Omnimons cost more than 13. Okay, well, if you just came to see whether or not I got a secret rare, you can go now, because there is nothing left for you here. But if you want to stick around, you can stick around for Troopmon. He's pretty cool. We got Darkmon here. When attacking once per turn, one of our opponent's Digimon loses Security Attack 1. So until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this just goes along with the Venusmon that's in this booster pack. Got another Defense Plug-in C. Red Vegiemon, who is just 1 to Digivolve, a pretty decent stat line, pretty standard for a Digimon with vanilla abilities. We got the option card Burning Star Crusher. We choose one of our level 4 or higher Digimon with Shoutmon in its name. Delete one of our opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the chosen Digimon. The security effect lets us reveal the top 3 cards of our deck and add 1 card with Crossheart in its traits from among them to our hand. We can then play a Taiki Kudo among them without paying its memory cost, and play the rest of the cards at the bottom of our deck in any order. So, yeah, I don't know, it's good. If you have a strong enough Shoutmon out on the board, its security effect is great, and I think that makes up for its lackluster main ability, but it all depends on how many Shoutmons you're actually putting in the deck, I suppose. Next up, we got Gaussmon. Gaussmon? Yeah. His on deletion lets us play a level 4 Digimon with blue flare in its traits from our hand, suspended, without paying its memory cost. So, this isn't such a big deal because the blue flare level 4 Digimon we're putting out there are probably going to end up as material for our Digi-Cross anyways, so having them suspended isn't that worrisome. So it's a pretty good card, and you should definitely run 4 if you're doing a blue flare deck. Now this one is good for all you green players out there. This is another Cherrymon, not to be confused with the Cherrymon from, I believe BT 5 or 6 Cherrymon came out. He is a Digisorption -2, so it only costs 1 to Digivolve if you suspend something to Digivolve him. However, during your opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, once per turn, you may switch the target of attack to one of your suspended Digimon. It's kind of like a reverse blocker. So if you've got 2 of these bad boys on board, you can force your opponent to attack something different twice. It's pretty nice, and the thing is, if I ever get to Bloom Lordmon, he's a card that comes out in this booster, his effect benefits greatly the more suspended Digimon you have, so having a lot on board is not a bad idea. Next we have Loenke Adiscato. I apologize for botching that word. If you have a Pulsemon, or a Digimon with Pulsemon in its Digivolution cards in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. If you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 12,000 DP. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on top of their security stack. So if you have 3 security, which is a pretty Pulsemon thing to have going on, you can effectively take care of 2 of your opponent's Digimon, throwing one into their security stack while deleting the other one by getting rid of its DP. Next we have our new egg. We got Demi-Meramon, very cute. While a non-red card is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. It's not that hard to do these days to get multiple colors in your Digimon stack, so while Demi-Meramon won't be able to help your, rookie level Digimon, he is very helpful for champion and upward. Next we have Spadamon. By placing this Digimon under one of your Digimon with Legend Arms or Cross Heart in its traits at the bottom Digivolution card, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. When attacking, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add a card with Legend Arms or Cross Heart in its traits among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. This is first of all, a dual-colored rookie level Digimon, and I think it's might be one of the first. Maybe not the first, but one of the first. What's amazing about him, though, is he works with both the Legend Arms and the Cross Heart strategies. Yeah, he costs 1 to Digivolve, but he is a black and red that you can use in Raising. I don't know about you, but with the Ragna Lordmon starter deck, I will definitely be putting 4 of these boys in my Legend Arms deck. And for our rares, we get Sparrowmon, who Digivolves from level 2s with Cross Heart, as well as regular black eggs like always. During all turns, if we have another Digimon or Tamer with Cross Heart or Twilight in its traits, this Digimon gains 3000 DP. So he is a rookie level Digimon with 5000 DP. If you have something else helping. On deletion, save. While this Digimon has Shoutmon or Mervamon in its name, it gains Reboot. So, yeah, Sparrowmon's got a pretty good inherited, being able to reboot something like that. And our other rare is another Yu Amano. Well, we are off to a good start here. We got a whole bunch of different cards, and I'm glad I already got the secret rare out of the way. That's one less I gotta try and collect. Our next pack contains Peon Dump, which gives one of our Digimon piercing for the turn. Then, if this Digimon, if you have a Digimon with Angoramon in its name or Angoramon in its Digivolution cards, we suspend one of our opponent's Digimon. So it's just like Flower Cannon, lets us suspend a Digimon. However, it does require the caveat of having Angoramon on board. But the piercing is really hard to pass up. Plus, its security effect not only suspends an opponent's Digimon, but adds this card to our hand, allowing us to basically get 2 cards for the price of 1. Next up is Golemon, which is just a nice little vanilla black Digimon. We got this Gazamon, who during all turns, if there are 10 or more cards in our trash, this Digimon gains Retaliation. So there is the egg in BT4, Xiaomon, has this exact same ability, but to have it on your Gazamon as well allows us to maybe play him from the trash and then Digivolve on top of him. So yeah, it's nice to have this effect on a rookie as well now. Next up we got Tinkermon. On play, one of our opponent's Digimon of level 5 or lower loses a security attack until the end of our opponent's turn. This works great with Petermon because now there are 3 different Tinkermons to choose from. So if you're building a fairy deck, it's a good idea. Next up is Ballistamon, Plasma Decadra Launcher, and Shortmon. While a vanilla Digimon, I've been very much looking forward to Shortmon and Weddingmon just because I love the design. They're just straight up cakes. I just think they're adorable. Next up we have Shoutmon Cross 4B. He is an Armor Purge. With the on play or when Digivolving, we can place a Digimon with Cross Heart in its traits from our hand under one of our Digimon. Then if Beelzemon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, we can return 2 cards with Cross Heart in their traits from our trash to our hand. So, I don't know if I'd run 4 in this deck, in my Shoutmon deck, but I would definitely run 1 just in case of any accidental recycles. Plus he's Armor Purge, which means he can survive a smack that you normally wouldn't be able to. Next up we have Canondramon, a blocker with when Digivolving unsuspend. So if you manage to attack with your level 5 and destroy or, survive attacking the security or destroy a Digimon, you can Digivolve into this big guy, and then you'll have the ability to block during your opponent's turn. Also during your opponent's turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, unsuspend. So he's able to block twice. Oh, how vicious. Our next is an egg, it's Tokobon. When an effect trashes this Digivolution card, draw 1. It's pretty appropriate for Bagra army stuff, which we'll see later in this booster. And for our rares, we get Justimon Critical Arm, who Digivolves 1 if the name contains Justimon. When Digivolving, we can return a card with Justimon in its name, other than Critical Arm, from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to its owner's hand, deleting one of our opponent's Digimon with play cost of 9 or less. When attacking, if we have a Tamer in play, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Justimon in its name, other than Critical Arm, for a cost of 2, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. So, yes, he can Digivolve on top of another Justimon with Critical Arm, but what you'd really want to do is Digivolve him on top of the one from EX2, and then have him attack and swing that back, Digivolve, swing that back into your hand, then attack and swing the other one on top of him, gaining those Digivolving effects. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to making my own Justimon deck. Oh, and our other rare is Zenjiro Tsurugi, which we already covered because, he's our box topper. Alright, our next pack contains High Vision Monitamon, who is actually the first time I can explain the Digi-Cross mechanic. So, when you would play this card, you may place specified cards from your hand under this Digimon. Each placed card reduces the play cost. So in this case, a High Vision Monitamon is a Digi-Cross 2, minus 2 I should say, from a Monitamon, and a Monitamon. I know, it's kind of vague on that one, but effectively making it cost 0. So if you started the game with 3 Monitamons and this guy in hand, you could for 0 play a Digimon. I don't know if you really should, but you can. What's amazing about this, though, the whole mechanic itself, is there are cards that will help you Digi-Cross not only from your hand and your play area, but also from underneath your tamers. Now, this is not like DNA Digivolving. So if I had 3 Monitamons on my board, and I had all 3 of them attack, and for some reason they all survived when attacking into security, High Vision Monitamon could Digi-Cross off the 3 of them. However, it is not the same as Digivolving, so I do not draw a card. And I do not get to attack with High Vision Monitamon. Even though he does come to board unsuspended, he is still being played. It's not like DNA Digivolving where he gains Rush. So, something to keep in mind. But, hey, it's a cool mechanic, and it's definitely a game changer in the current meta. Oh, next up we have Kokuamon. During our turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, gain a memory. Very simple, straight to the point, but works with Kokuamon X Antibody from the last booster. Then we have Darkmon, another Assaultmon. We got Pulsemon here, who can Digivolve 0 off BBmon, so he can Digivolve off the green BBmon as well. While you have 3 or fewer security, this Digimon gains Blocker. Yeah, it's a pretty decent effect, especially if you're, in the red, on the lower end of your security, and 3 is the magic number for Pulsemon deck, so. Next up we have Gogmamon, who is just a very strong level 5, only costs 5 to play. He is 3 to Digivolve, so he's not, in terms of speed of play, he's not better than Warumanzemon, but it's still 5 cost to play an ultimate level Digimon, so weigh your odds on how you want to play this card. Next we have Soundbirdmon. When attacking, we can place a purple Digimon card from your hand under one of our tamers to draw 1. On deletion, save. During our opponent's turn, when an effect trashes this Digivolution card, gain 1 memory. It's going to be a very common theme throughout the purple cards in this booster. This is Bosamon, who is the baby Digimon, or in training Digimon, of Angoramon. When an effect suspends a Digimon, this Digimon gains 1000 DP for the turn. Pretty straight to the point, much like most eggs. Ooh. So Blastmon here works great with that Uamano that we pulled a few boosters ago. He has Rush, which means he can attack the turn he's played, but if you look closely, he is a 13 cost Digimon, so it's how are you ever going to play him and Rush with him? Well, his on-play effect, if he has 3 Digivolution cards, Blitz. Now, if he's on play, he's not going to have any evolutions under him, so we'll get to that in a moment as well. During our opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, we can trash one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to delete one of our opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier about Digi-Crossing and all that stuff, if you have 3 Digimon underneath Uamano, and you play Blastmon, you can have you throw 3 of those cards underneath him to reduce the cost by 6, so he'll still cost 7. However, on play, he'll have 3 Digivolution cards, he'll be able to Blitz, and he'll innately have Rush. So he will be able to, on play, strike your opponent. Plus, he makes a great deterrent against level 4 or lower Digimon attacking because he doesn't suspend to block those attacks. He just straight up blows them up, and he can do it 3 times. Only during your opponent's turn and only once per turn, but hey, beats poking the eye with a stick. Oh, next up we got Taomon. When Digivolving, we may use an option card with plugin in its name from our hand without meeting its color requirements and without playing its cost. So, it's nice. You're going to be using a lot of plugin option cards with this kind of strategy anyways because of Sakuyamon and Rika from EX2. So, alright. Our next is our rare, Kiriha. At the start of our turn, he's a memory tamer, so our memory will get set to 3. And during our turn, when we would play a Digimon with Digi-Cross requirements, we can suspend this tamer and place cards from under our tamers as Digivolution cards for the Digi-Cross. This is what I meant by things like Ballistamon and, you know, the Dorulumon, and using their abilities in conjunction with the tamers for Digi-Crossing. Our other rare is Canon Weissmon. He can Digivolve for 4 off of a red level 4, or for 3 off of a level 4 with Gamamon in its name. This includes Battle Gamamon, Kalus Gamamon, Wazen Gamamon that we just got, the 4th one whose name I'm forgetting right now. But during our turn, when one of our tamers becomes suspended, this Digimon gains 2000 DP. Then if it has 12,000 or more, it gains security plus 1. During all turns, it has all the abilities of Gamamons underneath it, and even if you Digivolve on top of it, its inherited will give you the abilities of the Gamamons under it. This is a pretty nice card. There is a hero from BT8, I believe, that gives 2000 DP by suspending himself. So combine that with Canon Weissmon's ability and you will hit that 12,000. And, depending on your strategy, if you're using Battle Gamamon, he'll have Blitz. If you're using Kalus Gamamon, he can't be blocked. Wazen Gamamon will give him Piercing. And the Gamamons, there's so many different abilities from each of the individual Gamamons that this is a very versatile card. I'm interested to see what Gamamon's Mega looks like in the Ghost Game series, but for now, this is it's a pretty cool card, and I will definitely be building a Gamamon deck. Our next booster pack contains Quetzalmon, which is just a purple Digimon with Armor Purge. Actually, the first purple Digimon with Armor Purge, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, he doesn't Digivolve specially off of anyone, so that's kind of a bummer. Next up, we have Simba Angoramon. During our turn, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, gain a memory. It's a nice effect. Works well with Lamortmon, which we'll see later in this pack. Golemon. Oh, hang on, I'm disorganized. Gazamon. High Vision Monitamon. Still disorganized, man. Tactimon. So, his on-play effect. We may play 2 level 4 or lower Digimon cards with Bagra Army from our trash without paying their play cost. This Digimon, the Digimon played by that effect, gain Blocker. So as a tactician, he comes into battle and brings his soldiers with him to defend him as he gets ready. During our opponent's turn, when an effect would trash one of our other Digimon's Digivolution cards, we may trash this Digimon's Digivolution cards instead. So he works great with the other Bagramon effects, like, Blastmon, who we just pulled last booster. So, that's pretty cool. Next we got Brachiamon. Just a vanilla Digimon, but it's black and blue, so, it's another way to cross into the 2 different colors. Next we have Damemon. On play and when digivolving, if we have a U Amano in play, we may play, or if we don't have one, we may play one from our hand without paying its memory cost. On deletion, we save. And then, of course, with other Bagra Army stuff, when an effect trashes this Digivolution card, gain 1 memory. So, this was a used partner Digimon in the 6th season of Digimon Cross Wars, so it makes sense that his ability would bring the kid out. Oh, next we got Pile Volkmon, a Mega level Digimon with Blitz, and during our turn gains 2000 DP. So, pretty standard, but cool art, and, it's nice to see a Mega with Blitz. That's kind of cool. Ooh, next up is Male Birdramon. On play, if we have a Kiriha in play, we can return a Metal Greymon from our trash to our hand. And if we don't have one in play, we can play one without paying its cost. On deletion, save. When attacking, once per turn, if this Digimon has Blue Flare in its traits and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, one of our opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of our opponent's turn. That's a pretty good effect. Ooh. Next up we have the rare Shoutmon Cross 4. This one has Material Save 2. So when he gets deleted, we can put 2 of his material to the bottom of one of our tamers. His on-play effect lets us draw 2, and at the end of an attack, we can place all the Digivolution cards under this Digimon to one of our tamers, unsuspend one of our tamers, and delete this Digimon. He is a Digi-Cross from different Digimon, Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulumon, and Starmons. Now keep in mind, it was a little different for High Vision Monitamon because they all have the exact same name, but in the case of Shoutmon Cross 4 and any other crosses like Cross 5B, which I should have mentioned this a while ago, but Shoutmon Cross 4, you have to place Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulumon, and Starmons underneath him in that correct order. So you can't change that. But if you do that with all 4 of them, this is a 8,000 power Digimon for a cost of 1. That's crazy. Plus an on-play of draw 2. And our other rare is Galusgamamon. That was his name. Galusgamamon can digivolve for 0 off Gamamons. And during all of our turns, while a card with Gamamon in its name is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, he gains Retaliation. His on deletion lets us play a Gamamon from our trash, suspended, without paying its cost. So if you're running a Gamamon deck, I would say at least maybe 2 of that guy, just to help you out there. Our next pack contains Wazen Gamamon, another Tactimon, Ashramon, Defense Plug-in C, Impulse Memory Boost. We can play a Pulsemon from our hand without paying its cost, and since most Pulsemons cost 3, This is basically just playing 2 cards for the price of 1. Then we place the card in our battle area, with the delay effect of gaining 2 memory. So, yeah, pretty basic for memory boosts, but it's nice to work with Shoutmon, so. This Monotamon, unlike the other Monotamons we've seen so far, in the other BTs. On play, we reduce the top 4 cards, reveal the top 4 cards of our deck. Add 2 cards that are either black with Nightmon or Deadly Axemon in their names, or with Twilight in their traits among them to our hand, placing the rest at the bottom of our deck in any order. So it's a good searcher for the, strategies of the Twilight Army. Dondokomon just Digivolves for 2 off of anything with Crossheart, Digivolve 0 from level 2s with Crossheart, like Starmons, or Pikmons, I should say. And then, just vanilla stat line. Pretty nice. Next we have Justice Kick, which, 12 for its effect, not great, but it's designed to go with Justamon, which is supposed to have a lot of tamers involved. You can reduce the cost of this card by 1 for each tamer you have in play. You can play 1 Digimon card with Justamon in its name from our hand without paying its memory cost. If we do, delete one of our opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the Digimon we played. We can play 1 Black Tamer card from our hand without paying its play cost, then add this card to its owner's hand as a security effect. So, yeah, it's a good card, I'll say that. I like the Justamon strategy of sort of like coming to the board, doing some rapid stuff. It's very Power Rangers-esque of just very quick strikes in order to help defeat your opponent. Next we got Choo-Choo-Mon. Choo-Choo! On play, we reveal the top 4 cards of our deck, add a Digimon card with Bagura Army and its traits, and 1 Uamano among them to our hand, placing the rest at the bottom of our deck in any order. Ideal, would be on play, draw 2, but for the most part, you'll be getting like 1 Bagura and maybe you occasionally. On deletion, safe. And then it has the same purple effect we've been seeing of if it gets trashed as a Digivolution source during your opponent's turn, gain a memory. Next up we have Griffinmon, just a vanilla Mega Level Digimon, but it's green and yellow, so once again we're just connecting colors together through all these different dual colored Digimon. And for our rares we get Decker Greymon, which is a Armor Purge Digimon who Digi-Crosses from Metal Greymon and Decker Dramon. It's on play or when Digivolving effect, we can place a Digimon card with Blue Flare in its traits from our hand or from under one of our tamers under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then, if Decker Dramon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of our opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block until our opponent's next turn. So Decker Greymon comes to the board, paralyzes an opponent's Digimon, and has Armor Purge to protect the Greymon underneath. And our other rare is another Galoose Gamamon. Our next pack contains Shortmon, and Cyberdramon. Not to be confused with the Cyberdramon from EX2, this one is actually a blue from the Blue Flare Army. From your hand, which is an interesting new source, new name, new effect. It's an ability that it has while in the hand, not on the field. If you have a Digimon with Blue Flare and its traits in play, you can pay 3 memory to place this card under one of those Digimon as its bottom Digivolution source, then unsuspend that Digimon. While your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, it gives the inherited effect of giving 1000 DP. So, not really so much for the inherited effect here, but 3 memory to unsuspend a Digimon and attack again is not a bad effect. I would say if you're making a Blue Flare deck, maybe at least like 1 copy of this guy. But that's just my opinion. Next up, we got Impulse Memory Boost, Soundbirdmon, Wazengamamon, Mad Leomon. So Mad Leomon is a pretty terrifying dude. During your opponent's turn, When an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand by trashing one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, your opponent trashes cards in their hand equal to the number of cards added to their hand by the effect. So if your opponent plays something and it says like draw 2, you trash a Digivolution source and then your opponent has to trash 2. So if your opponent did something crazy and they were like draw 6, you could say nope, trash 6. On deletion, save. His Digi-Cross 2 is from Digimon with Bagra Army in its traits. So he can only reduce his cost by 2 by Digivolving. It's almost like a weird, like, he's not Digivolving, but he's coming to the board for less at the price of 2 cards. Anyways, he has the opponent's turn effect of when this is trashed by a Digivolution effect, gain 1 memory. So, just another one that can do that. Next we got Gogmamon, another Griffinmon, another Shoutmon Cross 4B, another Blastmon, Mortal Ruler for our rare, and ooh, Bloom Lordmon. So Bloom Lordmon is the big super rare for greens this time around. His when Digivolving effect, we can suspend one of our Digimon, then gain a memory for each suspended Digimon with vegetation, plant, or fairy in one of their traits that we have in play. If we gain 2 or more memory from this effect, unsuspend this Digimon, and it gains piercing for the turn. And yes, Bloom Lordmon can suspend himself, so if you only have one suspended Digimon, you can summon him, suspend him, and then he'll unsuspend and gain piercing. During our turn, for every 2 suspended Digimon we have in play, he gains 2000 DP and Security Attack +1. And yes, when he goes to attack, he counts as one of those suspended Digimon. So as long as you have one suspended Digimon on board, you can Digivolve into this guy and gain all his abilities. The Bloom Lordmon strategy is a pretty good deck, and I'm looking forward to seeing if anyone at my locals plans on giving that deck a try. Next up we have Shoutmons. Or sorry, Starmons, not Shoutmon. Starmon gives Shoutmon the power to draw a card when attacking, but he can also Digivolve off of any Cross Hearts, Digivolve 0 from level 2s with Cross Heart and trait, and his on deletion is save. So, pretty good, works with the Pikmons. We got Bluecomon here. 2 hard play, 2 to Digivolve, 5000 power. We haven't seen this stat line in a while, but we have never seen it in blue, so kind of nice for them to finally get on that board. Next we have Buzzing Fist. Reveal the top 3 cards of our deck, add 1 card with Bagra Army and its traits among them to our hand, trash the rest. Then we can play 1 Digimon with Bagra Army and its traits from our trash to under one of our tamers. So, not bad. We can put something in our hand, we trash the rest, we put something under one of our tamers. Its security effect lets us play a black tamer card from our hand without paying its play cost. Then add this card to its owner's hand. I think this is one of the cards that got retconned. It needs, I believe the black tamer was changed to either Uamano or a purple tamer. I will slide this card over for a little and I'll post there if something did change about it, or I could be wrong, totally possible. But next we got Mushroomon, who just a vanilla, but it's cool to see Mushroomon. Another Pulsemon, Sunflowmon, Assaultmon, Pikmons, Breakclaw, Grandisol, and for our rares we get Dark Knightmon, who Digi-Crosses from Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon. His on play lets us de-Digivolve 1 of our opponent's Digimon. Then, if Digi-Crossing with 2 cards, delete 1 of our opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. So that's pretty cool. During all turns, when this Digimon would be deleted, we can return a level 4 or lower black Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution sources to its owner's hand. We may play 1 Skull Knightmon or Deadly Axemon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying its play cost. So, when he gets deleted, we put one back in our hand and we throw the other one back to the board, allowing us to potentially Digi-Cross or attack again. Our other rare is Hero of the Skies. Our next pack contains Regalkusmon, Healing Therapy, Buzzing Fist, Starmons, Mushroomon, Dodonkumon, Dondokomon, Monitamon, Death the Cannon. When this card is trashed from our deck, return it to our hand. Its main effect, for a cost of 8, lets us delete one of our opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. If there are 10 or more cards in our trash, we can add one to the maximum level of Digimon we can delete with this effect. So, in the early game, we can only delete a level 6, but once you get after turn like 2 or 3 with a purple deck, you can delete pretty much anything with Death the Cannon. Its security adds it to your activates its main effect, so it'll let us just delete things, which is nice. Ooh, the 2-cost Reinforcement Plug-in 0, or O, depending on I think it's an O, not a 0. When we have a tamer in play, we can use this without meeting its color requirements. One of our Digimon gets 3000 DP until the end of our opponent's turn. Its security effect gives us a memory and adds it to our hand. So that's pretty nice, actually, especially if you're running blockers, because this gives your blocker an extra 3000 DP, which is a pretty difficult hump to get over for a lot of players. Next we have Bosamon. Ooh, and for our rares we get Thetismon. Her when Digivolving ability, if we have 6 or fewer cards in our hand, we draw 2. Which works great with Tesla Jellymon, who, in order to unsuspend, has us trash cards. When attacking, if we have 8 or more cards in hand, by trashing 2 cards in our hand, we can unsuspend this Digimon. So, in an ideal world, you could have 8 cards in hand, attack with Tesla Jellymon, discard 2 cards, Digivolve into Thetismon, and attack a 3rd time. So you'd be able to attack, trash, attack, trash, attack, attack, trash, Digivolve, attack, trash, attack. So still, 3 attacks in 1 turn. Ooh! And finally our other rare is Shoutmon Cross 5B, a blocker with Armor Purge whose on play and when Digivolving ability lets us place a Cross Heart from our hand or under one of our tamers into this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then if Beelzemon is in this Digivolution cards, we can play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon with Crossheart in its traits from our trash without paying its cost. So, a blocker with Armor Purge is pretty cool, because that gives you the potential of surviving multiple attacks. I almost put a sleeve on it because it just looks so fancy. I thought it was a super rare. But yeah, no, it's a very strong card. I don't know how many of that one I would use, though. I don't know. I feel like Beelzemon, it's got good effects, but it doesn't fit in with all the other Crossheart cards. Our next pack contains Bluekomon, Sandiramon, which is just another vanilla flat, purple Digimon, not bad. A 5 cost to play level 5 Digimon, though, so if you're trying to outpace your opponent, it's a good card. Got Cherrymon, Quetzalmon, Tinkermon, Gaussmon, Assaultmon, Talmon, Skullbaluchimon. Ooh, now this level 5 is a pretty nasty one. When one of your effects trashes a card in your hand, if it's your turn, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into 1 purple Digimon card with Undead or Dark Animal in its traits from your trash for its Digivolution cost. So your entire discard pile is open for options when it comes to Digivolving. When Digivolving, if it Digivolved from the trash, he gains on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn, making him a pretty big threat, because you Digivolve him, straight from the trash, he can jump into security, no questions asked, and then delete something with him when he dies yet again. Next is the Egg Bebedomon, very cute. When attacking, if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, draw 1. Another standard, egg, very cute. Cute art, nice Digimon. For our rares, we got Sparrowmon and Blazing Memory Boost, a 5-cost memory boost. Its delay is just gain 2 memory, but its effect lets us reveal the top 6 cards of our deck, add 2 cards with blue flare and its traits among them to our hand, and if Christopher among them and play without paying its memory cost, we can play him. So effectively, of those 6 cards, we could draw 2 and play Christopher, which, okay, I do want to point this out. Christopher, this is who they're talking about when it says Christopher. I don't know why it went with his English name in the card, but not his English name on the actual card. So I'm wondering which one is gonna get retconned. I know it means the same guy, because I watched the subtitled version of the series, but I wonder if Bandai's gonna do something about that. Our next booster pack contains Plasma Decadra Launcher, another Shortmon, Ashiramon, Wazengamamon, Defense Plugin C, Troopmon, Golemon, Saiken Meppa. While we have a Royal Knight in play, we can use this card without paying its color requirement. Unsuspend one of our Digimon. Then, if that Digimon is Jesmon GX, which we're lucky enough to have a copy, activate its when Digivolving effects. One of its effects. So one of its Digivolving effects. Add this card to its owner's hand as a security. So, yeah, you have your smorgasbord underneath Jesmon GX, and now you can do it again if you feel like it. That's pretty terrifying, actually. That's okay, though. I'm sure Jesmon won't destroy the meta. We got Male Birdramon, Spadamon. Ooh, and for our rares, we get Greymon, whose on-play effect reveals the top 4 cards of our deck. We add 2 cards with blue flare and their traits to our hand. Place the rest at our bottom. Then, if we have Kiriha in play, we can return a Metal Greymon from our trash to our hand instead. Okay, so only Blazing Memory Boost, for some reason, calls him Christopher. When attacking, if this Digimon has blue flare in its traits and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, unsuspend this Digimon. So you Digi-Cross into Metal Greymon from this Greymon, and you can swing twice at your opponent. Nice. Whoa! And for our last rare of this booster, we get the alternate art of the super rare Dark Knightmon X Antibody. He can Digivolve for 4 off of Dark Knightmon. He is a level 6, Digivolving off a level 5, so that does make sense. When Digivolving, we can return a black or purple Digimon card other than Dark Knightmon X Antibody from our trash to our hand. Then if Dark Knightmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, we can delete a Tamer and unsuspend this Digimon. Nice. On deletion, we can play a Dark Knightmon from our trash without paying its play cost. Okay then. A while back I did build a Dark Knightmon deck and I did have fun with it, so maybe this is the game's way of telling me to break that deck out again and see what I can do with it. But for now, we'll see what we can do with Darkmon, Tectimon, High Vision Monotamon, Soundbirdmon, Red Vegiemon, Tinkermon, Gaussmon, Skullbaluchimon, Renamon. On play reveals the top 4 cards of our deck. We can add an option card with plug-in and a yellow Tamer to our hand, and then place the rest at the bottom of our deck. Inherited effect: when you use an option card with a play cost of 2 or more, one of our opponent's Digimon loses 2000 DP for the turn. Nice. Ajitaramon. And for our rares, we got Akari Hinomoto, whose on play lets us play Dorulumon from our hand or from one of our tamers without paying the memory cost. Then when we play a Digimon with Cross Heart in its traits, we can suspend this tamer to draw 1. And our other is Sistermon CL. Her on-play effect, if it is our turn, one of our Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Royal Knight in its traits, for its Digivolution cost. I assume that requires all the correct requirements though, so you can't like Digivolve Huckmon into Justmon. You have to still do everything else correctly. But it does allow you to Digivolve in addition to playing a Digimon. During our turn, when one of our Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Huckmon or Royal Knight in its traits, we gain a memory. So her on play lets us Digivolve, but it also lets us gain back a memory from said Digivolution. Aww, good, I was looking for you. Yay, we got Weddingmon. I don't know, I just love the design. It's just a regular person. She's just a woman, but it's just a straight up wedding cake. It is a wedding cake Digimon, and having worked in weddings for 6 years, it's kind of funny to just see a card like this come into existence. So, flat stat line, good Digivolution cost, good card overall. We got Gogmamon, we got Gazamon, we have another High Vision Monotamon and Ballistamon on the way. We got Pulsemon, Sunflowmon, Palmon. Oh hey, we're finally seeing Shoutmon, the leader of the bunch. He can Digivolve 2 or 0 from level 2s with Cross Heart in their traits. His on play effect, however, lets us search our top 3 cards for a Digimon card and a Tamer card, both with Cross Heart in their traits among them, to our hand, placing the rest at the bottom of our deck in any order. His on deletion gives us save, and his inherited gives Shoutmon's rush. So you can Digi-Cross all that stuff on top of him, and then that Shoutmon in particular can attack the same turn it came into play. Next up, we got Dekardramon, whose on play lets us draw 1. Then for each Digimon our opponent has, we draw an additional card. So, yeah, you could draw a lot if your opponent has a wide enough board. Then during all turns, if our opponent has 2 or more Digimon, this Digimon gains 1000 DP. Not a great inherited, but a pretty great draw engine. And for our rares, we get Canon Weissmon and another Zenjiro. Alright, our next pack contains Impulse Memory Boost, Gogmamon, ooh, another Weddingmon, Skull Knightmon, Mighty Axe Mode. He has a Digi-Cross -1 for Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon, so he could cost 2 if you've got the right requirements. The name of this card is also treated as Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon, so if you have effects that make you choose, or actually you could even Digi-Cross on top of him himself. His on play lets you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 Knightmon in its name, 1 Deadly Axemon, or 1 Nene Amano among them to your hand. Trash the rest. Then, if you Digi-Crossed with 2 cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. Not bad. Pretty solid effect. Next we have Burning Star Crusher, Regalkusmon, Quetzalmon, Beelzemon, Pylevolkmon, the hard to pronounce yellow card, and for our rares we get Lotusmon. Her when Digivolving, we can suspend one of our opponent's Digimon. It does not unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase. Then during our opponent's turn, all of our other Digimon with Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy gain on deletion, gain 2 memory, and return one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 or less DP from your trash to hand. Oh, that's for you. Oh, that's nice. Okay, very cool. So, yeah, she turns all of your other plant Digimon. Oh, that would be nice. You have something, Cherrymon redirects it, and then you could gain the memory and a card back, And if it was a small Digimon, you just gain that small Digimon back. And our other rare is Taiki. His on play lets us look at the top 4 cards of our deck. We can add a Crossheart among them to our hand and place a Digimon card with Crossheart in its traits under this Tamer. Place the rest at the bottom of our deck. When we would play a Digimon with Digi-Cross requirements, we can suspend him to use the Digimon under him instead of the cards in our hand and field. So just like Kiriha. So nice. He is the obvious linchpin to the entire strategy of Digi-Crossing, both him and Kiriha. The other Tamers are helpful, but those two are the ones that make it all happen. Next up, we got another Skull Knight mode, Mighty Axe mode, another Darkmon, Cyberdramon, Defense Plugin C, Pion Dump, Burning Star Crusher, Red Vegiemon, Demi-Meramon, Death the Cannon, Bebedomon. Oh, and for our rares, we get Achillesmon. When Digivolving, if we have 2 or fewer security, we recover 1. When attacking, if we have 3 or more security cards, one of our opponent's Digimon loses 5,000 DP for the turn. If we have 3 or fewer security, we gain 2 memory. So obviously you want that sweet spot where there's 3, but it's nice to see that he can at least bump you up if you're low, so that's a good effect. And our other rare is Dark Knightmon. Our next booster contains Simbarangoramon, Healing Therapy, Sendiramon, another Cherrymon. Oh, we got Cubimon. When Digivolving, we can use one of the following effects. We can either return an option card from our trash to our hand, a plug-in option card, or we can trash an option card with plug-in from our hand to draw 2. We got Pion Dump, Madleomon, Monimon, Shoutmon, Dekardramon. Oh, and for our rares, we got Angoramon, who, when we play a green Tamer, we draw 1. And when one of our opponent's Digimon becomes suspended as an inherited, he lets us draw 1. Nice. Ooh! And for our super rare, we get Sakuyamon Maid Mode. So she can Digivolve for 3 off a level 5 or 2 off a level 6. When Digivolving, we may use an option card with plug-in in its name that is yellow. Oh, sorry. A yellow that costs 5 or less, or an option card with plug-in in its name, from our hand without meeting its color requirements or paying its cost. We can place the option card used with this effect at the top of our security stack face down instead of placing it in our trash. That's crazy! You get a great effect and you can place it on top of your security stack, allowing you to effectively use it again. When attacking, this Digimon may Digivolve into Sakuyamon in your hand at a cost of 1, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. This would allow you to flip-flop back and forth between Maid Mode, then into Sakuyamon, then into Maid Mode, then into Sakuyamon, given of course you have enough of those cards in your hand. Still, that's a great card and I'm glad I got at least 1. Next up we get another Cubimon, Ashiramon, Plasma Decadra Launcher, Soundbirdmon, Healing Therapy, Tectomon, Simbarangoramon, Palmon, Reinforcement Plugin 0, Damemon, and for our rares we get Sanzomon. When Digivolving, one of our opponent's Digimon loses Security Attack 1 until the end of our opponent's turn. And when attacking, one of our opponent's Digimon loses a Security Attack until the end of our opponent's turn. Obviously designed to go with Venusmon. If I pull Venusmon I can explain better, but we'll just have to wait and see. Ooh! And our other is another super rare, Minervamon, one of the Olympus 12. Minervamon is a Mega level Digimon with Retaliation. During your opponent's turn, when an opponent plays a Digimon, you may play one level 4 or lower purple Digimon from our trash without paying its cost. However, we don't get to use any of its on-play abilities. On deletion, if your opponent has 2 or fewer Digimon in play, we may play one purple level 5 or lower, or one Mervamon from our trash without paying its cost. Right now, Mervamon doesn't exist, like in the card game. However, Minervamon will get a lot more powerful once she does, because you'll be able to summon Mervamon after Minervamon gets deleted. Something to keep in mind for the next BT that comes out. And now we are down to the home stretch. There are only 6 packs left, and we are starting with Kokuamon. Moving on to Ballmon, Cyberdramon, Dorulumon, Barakiomon, Ballistamon, Gazimon, Choo-Choo-Mon, Canondramon, Pikmons, and for our rares we get Angoramon and another Greymon. Nice. In our next pack we have Impulse Memory Boost, Brachiomon, Ballmon, Kokuamon, Madleomon, Dorulumon, Wazengamamon, Shoutmon Cross 4B, Canondramon, Tokomon. Oh, and for our rares we get Lamortmon. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, who works great for Angoramon and Simba Angoramon, who would be underneath him. Once per turn, during your turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, unsuspend this Digimon, so he can swing wildly if he's fighting other Digimon. However, when attacking, if you don't have a tamer in play to keep his madness in check, you will lose 2 memory as a result. So, keep that in mind. And our other rare is another Greymon. Wow. In one box alone, I'm going to have 3 copies of Greymon. It's like this box knows who I am. Okay, next up we've got Troopmon, Regalkusmon, Shortmon, Golemon, Mushroommon, Balukomon, Monitamon, Bosamon, Blastmon, Talmon, and for our rares I spoiled the Decker Greymon, but that's okay. I believe I talked about him, maybe? He has Armor Purge on play, Blue Flare. Yes, he does. He comes, he paralyzes. I did mention that. Oh, and here's Venusmon. Huh. That's who I was mentioning earlier. So, she is a yellow level 6 mega level member of the Olympus 12 as well, actually. When Digivolving, all of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -1 for until the end of your opponent's turn. But that's not the crazy part. What's crazy is during your opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon with security attack of any kind, whether it's plus or minus, they cannot attack this Digimon, the one I'm holding, and they cannot activate their when attacking or when Digivolving abilities. If you thought Yellow was terrifying when it came to its power to control, now you see that it can now stop you from even trying to harm their security. Yellow has just become the color of stopping the game. But Yellow ain't gonna stop these Starmons, even though they are yellow. Dondokomon as well. We got Mushroommon. We got Buzzing Fist, Blukomon, Monitamon, Cubimon again, Tokomon, another Justice Kick, Grand Soul, and for our rares we get another Akari. Ho! And we get Jesmon X Antibody. As if Jesmon didn't have enough power-ups coming in its new starter deck, we've got Jesmon X Antibody, who digivolves for 0 off of Jesmon. And he innately has Piercing. When digivolving, you may play a Digimon with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its play cost. Then, if Jessamon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, or you have a Digimon with Sistermon in play, which you would after Digivolving, until the end of your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon may also attack unsuspended Digimon and gain 2000 DP. Now, mind you, Jessamon has no pluses to his security, so this is a good counter to the Venusmon I just pulled. So, yeah, Jessamon getting another big power-up, and not bad for our bronze medal. Now, this is our penultimate pack. Let us see what it can give us. We've got Starmons again. They seem to be the top of most booster packs. Or at least the last few. We got Buzzing Fist, Dondokomon. I'll put Starmons right there we go. Brachiomon, Impulse Memory Boost, Tectomon, Weddingmon, Justice Kick, Choo-Choo-Mon, Griffinmon, and for our rares, another Taiki, and Shoutmon Cross 5, another super rare. I think that's 3 in a row. Crazy. And this is the bottom half of the box. I mean, you know the last two had Jessamon, so that's crazy. Anyways, he's got Security Attack +1, he's got Blocker, he's got Material Save 3, which will make up for the 5 Digimon that come into him. We got Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulumon, Starmons, and Sparrowmon all making up this bad boy. And, mind you, if you have that correct Shoutmon, the one that gives Rush, this big guy costs 0. He is a 10,000 DP Digimon with Rush for 0 memory. Now granted, you have to have 5 Digimon in the right place at the right time, so honestly at this point you've kind of earned it, but regardless, this is the linchpin of, well, I keep throwing that word around. I don't know how the meta is going to look yet, but I think Shoutmon Cross 5 is going to be one of the strongest cards in the game, at least for this BT. And now it is time to say goodbye with our last booster pack. We got Skull Knightmon, Mighty Axe Mode, another Weddingmon, we got Peon Dump, we got Tinkermon, Kokuamon, Sandiramon, Pulsemon, Breakclaw, Saiken Meppa, Renamon, and for our last rares we get Sparrowmon. Hey! And a super rare Metal Greymon! Okay, to me that's the best way to end this, is getting Metal Greymon. Look at him, he's so cool. Anyways, he has a material save of 2, which will protect the Greymon and male Birdramon that make him up. With Digi-Cross -2, using those same 2 Digimon, he'll only cost 3 to play. On play, he gains Rush. Then, if Digi-Crossing, 3 of your opponent's Digimon with Digivolution cards less than or equal to this Digimon's Digivolution cards cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So he comes to board, he rushes, he destroys everything in his path. He's Metal Greymon. So we got Metal Greymon, Cross 5, we get Jessamon X Antibody, we got Venusmon, Minervamon, Sakuyamon Maid Mode, we got Bloom Lordmon, and for our potential alt arts or secret rares, we got X Antibody of our of Dark Knightmon and Jessamon GX. Not to mention all these lovely promo cards we got just for getting the box. So, like I always say, you definitely want to get a box when it comes to buying booster packs, because it's an easier way to get all the cards for collectors and for competitive players alike if you don't care what colors you're playing. But other than that, thanks for watching. I'm sorry I wasn't as enthusiastic or exciting, or, you know, my voice is a little gravelly, but I'm hoping by next time, or maybe the next time I record, I'll be feeling a little better. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.